Nice. So thanks for...
This is singles?
No, we can do it both. Yeah. So thanks for bringing your film to us. Now, it was what, 2 years ago you went to Sundance?
2 years ago, January.
Basically, exactly 2 years ago. Here we are, a week before Sundance 210, and we were there 2008.
2 years ago, and it's quite extraordinary.
And I'm sure when you took it to Sundance, you were thinking in 2 years we'll be mounting a Best Picture Oscar campaign.
We thought immediately. That was the first thought. 2010 Best Picture Oscar campaign. No, we just didn't know what to expect. We were just so thrilled that the audiences were so receptive. I mean, we did, when we put a film in front of an audience for the first time, you hope. We'd done one test screening for about 30 people, and we got some great notes, and a couple of friends had seen it, but we hadn't really put it in front of an audience who had no vested interest in liking it or not at all.
We were confident, though.
Like, we thought it was. We thought it was good.
We thought it.
So even if they didn't, we were like, "Fuck no."
We thought it was really strong. And that was only validated by the screenings.
The response, yeah.
I mean, the screenings in Sundance were phenomenal. And but then we had this odd experience of having. Sorry, I don't know whether to look at you or look at your thingy. Then we had this odd experience of having these incredible screenings, but then the distributors kept putting these barriers up between the film and them, and the reasons why they didn't feel they could justify taking it to market. And so
the music has actually been scored for this interview to underline the profound sadness, emotion, and the epic sense of loss that happened at Sundance when no one bought the fucking film. Which is basically what happened. No one bought it. We had a couple of good offers. Well, we had a couple of decent offers from companies we didn't know that were based in Aruba.
And some serious companies, thank God we didn't pursue some of those serious offers, because the companies went by the wayside within a month.
That's right.
Within
that's right. One studio actually closed within 6 months that we nearly made a deal.
Yeah.
So it was. We were very fortuitous at the time. It was really hard because we were having these incredible audience responses. We were walking down Main Street with the band. Everyone was so excited. We love your movie, And so then we started to think, oh my God, maybe it's just a Sundance thing, and we're really on crack, and it's a terrible movie, because none of the distributors were really stepping up. So Rebecca sat me down and said, look, we need to sort of talk about this and strategize, because we've been told that maybe we should wait till Toronto. And we decided, I think quite wisely, at Rebecca's from Rebecca's advice, that we were
going to become festival sluts.
That we were going to basically be the village bicycle, and if there was an Ulaanbaatar festival in a hut, we were going to be there and promote it. No, we just really, our greatest strength was the film, and we thought we're just going to show it and trust that at a certain point something will happen. I mean, it was kind of a crazy risk, because at a certain point, 2 months after Sundance, we'd had quite a decent offer for the world on the table, which we'd passed up. And at a certain point, 2 or 3 months after, you're thinking, yeah, I guess people like the movie, but no one's really kind of talking about it anymore. And we were just thinking, I was thinking, wow, did we do the right thing? But of course, Rebecca was right. We did absolutely the right thing. We just screened it all throughout the year and basically built up a critical mass of pockets of word of mouth in the States and Canada and in Europe and in Australia, where we had a tremendous good fortune with the Sydney Film Festival and in Galway. And we just finally, in the typical Anvil tradition, to executives who were on holiday in Prague, drinking in a pub.
Two assistants to the executives who are on holiday in Prague at the Prague Film Festival.
The MOFM. Everyone knows the MOFM Music and Film Festival. It's held in the basement of a pub, literally. There were 80 people, and they heard, there's this film Anvil playing. So they thought, hey, we've got our beer keller, our beers, let's go down. And they watched this film, and they go, we really love this movie. And we'd sent Lips and Rob there, because we just decided to try and send them every possible place. It was, listen, the music is amplifying what happened. And basically, they came back to New York and said, we've seen this terrific film Anvil. And then suddenly it whipped around MTV and VH1 and all these different places, and everyone fell in love with the movie, and they came to us and said, listen, we really believe in this, and can we partner with you? And so, thanks to an incredible guy called Rick Krim, who really advocated for us, he came up with ideas like, okay, we don't have tons of money to take this out, what we're going to do is play your trailer in music blocks on VH1 and MTV. So, you'd have like a Christina Aguilera video, and then the Anvil trailer, and then the John Mayer video, whatever it was.
Isn't it fantastic? The music industry that was
so roundly rejected
was destroyed. The irony of that, but also that was, in disarray 5 years ago, has risen from the ashes and is now saving at least in our case, saved the movie and became a really key strategic partner for us. So basically, we ended up releasing the film independently in a form of self-distribution with enormous backing.
From those guys,
from VH1,
and our great distributor Richard Abramovitz in New York, who was phenomenal, who booked the theatres. We had this great guy Josh Dayton, who'd worked at Fox Searchlight, who loved the film and came on board and worked on marketing with us. And then we had the internet people, and but we did it all out of my house and Rebecca's office, and it was totally homemade, the whole thing. And that's what was good. I think people felt that there was something authentic to it, that we were just really determined that one way or another we were going to get it out there. We didn't really care, you know, what people said and all the negative people who said, well, it's a heavy metal movie and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And we just decided to do it ourselves, and we're so glad we did, because I don't think that it would have been seen in the way that it has been now by so many people. And
if we'd taken the deals that were on offer, and again, they were very sizable by documentary standards, a year and a half ago, we wouldn't be sitting here, and the movie would be long forgotten, and we wouldn't be sitting here end of year on every other top 10 list, and not just top 10 documentary list, but, you know, top 10 best film list, and sitting here and sharing the movie across this country and others, just with people that are, you know, have fallen in love with it and the band, and it's changed their lives. Like, they now are living the dream that they've harbored for 30 years. They're
in the middle of a 30-date US tour, which is mostly sold out. They're playing amazing venues. They're playing the Fillmore in a couple of weeks, 2,500 people. I mean, it's just phenomenal what's going on. And you know, some people may know that they opened for AC/DC at Giant Stadium. They were on Conan. Nightline did a big feature on it. You know, it's just been this whole underground thing. And the fact that we're sort of, you know, being so supported by these critics is amazing. I mean, because without, frankly, people like, you know, Anthony Lane and Kenny Turan and A.O. Scott and all these amazing people who've put us on these lists, you know, I mean, you really need, as a small film, champions. And we've had some great champions. So we're incredibly grateful because, you know, without people banging the drum saying, you've got to see this film, you know, why is anyone going to pay attention? So we should thank all of those people. It's been pretty cool.
Right. One more question. There's a moment in the film, I think, where
you only asked one question.
Yes. There's a moment in the film where we see an amp that goes up to 11.
Yeah.
That was real, and if so, how excited were you to find that?
Unbelievable. I mean, it was like the same. Here's the story. After Spinal Tap in 1984, obviously became part of the culture. Equipment companies who manufactured outboard equipment for studios started to manufacture pieces of equipment and amps that went to 11 to mimic the film. So that when we went to film Anvil recording their album, Chris Tangarides, the producer, had one of these pieces of equipment. So of course I saw that, I was like, fantastic, immediately. But I mean, the film happened, like all these delightful things like that happened. It was, you know, I mean, the fact that Spinal Tap's director and the drummer of Anvil are both named Rob Reiner, I mean, who could make that up? You know, it's just been phenomenal in that sense. There's clearly some kind of cosmic joke.
Kismet.
Yeah, cosmic kismet going on with the whole thing. I mean, it was very instinctive and natural for both Rebecca and I to do the film. I'd known the band since I was a kid. Rebecca felt immediately after meeting the guys that this was a story she wanted to also, you know, join with me in making. And the whole thing has been homemade and a lot of fun. I mean, very tough at times as well. You know, incredibly hard when we couldn't sell it and get the offers that we wanted. But, you know, just like the band, we never really gave up. You know, we just really believed that the message of the film, you know, about essentially not giving up was something that we almost had to earn it. You know, we had to live it.
It was really inspiring. I mean, for me, certainly, and I know Sacha's had this experience too, in the film industry, particularly of late, where we've all been pummeled and kicked in the rear and beaten down, and God, you wake up some mornings, you go, could it get any harder? And then I would look, you know, at my friends, because we've been at this now 5 years, Lips and Rob, and I go, they were at it for 30 years. They got pummeled a hell of a lot harder than I ever had, and they kept pulling up their bootstraps, and they kept believing, and they kept having faith in their art and what it is that they were doing, and they kept choosing to define their own destiny and not wait to have their worth defined by somebody else. And it was really bloody inspiring, and I have to say, like, it was really galvanizing and heartening, you know, to have them as this model, kind of role models in a way for us as they became in this journey. It was really, it's been a
Again,
very
the music.
beautiful. It was.
It's Ride of the Valkyrie. I mean, no, it's been a magical journey, and for us, I think one of the greatest pleasures is standing on the side. I mean, for me, was standing on the side of Giant Stadium in New York as the band went on stage to open for AC/DC, and there were 55,000 people there, and there were people chanting Anvil before the band came out because they had such an emotional response to the film that they wanted to both see the band play and also cheer them on and see them win, you know. And to be involved in that kind of energy when we had no idea that was coming, it's just been this incredible, magical ride, and I think it continues. Like even, you know, beyond, you know, this US tour and the experience shows we're doing. I mean, they're booked for the next 2 years, you know, and they're recording a new album, and the energy of the film has sort of fed back to them. And now I think the material I've heard recently is just extraordinary. So the band is kind of like they're 25 again, and I think that, you know, it's a very powerful thing, and I don't think any of us were quite expecting, like you said, 2 years on to be involved in, you know, all the stuff that we're involved in, and it's amazing, and have the support that we have, you know, from artists and filmmakers, and it's amazing.
Okay, well, thanks very much.